So this is Skip again for part 3 of the video series on how to add a game to our database here at the WSGF. Sorry that it's taking 3 and maybe 4 parts to do this. Trying to go into some detail to give some background on how to prepare. That was part 1. Part 2 was adding the basic information here on the game, the box art, the description here, and then all the stuff here in this game information. Now we're going to add the support summary. So I promise it doesn't take near as long to do this. Especially after you've done it once, as it's taking me to go through this and explain everything in detail. Hopefully this video will help make it all faster for you. So here we've got the page loaded, and I have no idea why the ad is for sexy Arab girls. Way to go, Google. So again, we've come through the information here, the basic game information, the web developer links, the affiliate store links, and now we're going to look at the baseline widescreen support. This is really the foundation of what everything is built off of. So for version, it's kind of hard to get version numbers anymore because everything goes through Steam and it's self-patching. So this is just the Steam version. When we look at the screen change here, and this is a great way to show how the screenshots will come in handy to have them all ahead of time. If I open up the first one here, you can really see that as we go to a wider aspect, that it is what we call horizontal plus. If it was Vert minus, this would get shorter as you went to widescreen, and you would not see more here. If you're not familiar with our terms of Hor plus, Vert minus, pixel based, stretched, check out our FAQ. It's all there with screenshots, but we can see here that for widescreen, and even up to the 21:9 single widescreen and full multi-monitor, that it is horizontal plus. The other thing we're going to look at here real quick early on is the HUD. I've only got one small HUD element here, but we can see that it's not stretched, that it is holding its aspect ratio. Normally when I do this, I keep, I'm running it on my multi-monitor rig, and I have the screenshots open in one window, the screenshot browser open in another, and all these web links and stuff in a separate browser window. So if you have multi-monitor, that certainly helps. Now the widescreen method in this is native. I didn't have to do anything to make it happen. It's available in the options. Again, if you're not familiar with INI, edit, registry, and command line, what that means to us, again, check out the fact. So there's native. The HUD stretch is none. So here we have the item here for the rendered cutscenes. These are the in-game cutscenes using the game's engine. Those are horizontal plus, and again, we'll go back to our screenshots here to look at that. I'll close this window. So I'll grab here the cutscene. You can see the very narrow field of vision here, but as we go to 16:9, it's wider, much wider. 16:10 is a little narrower. And then we go all the way to 21:9, see it's much wider, and multi-monitor is even wider still. So again, here we have that this is horizontal plus. If there are no rendered cutscenes, then you would still need to select NA, because without these fields being selected, then you won't get grading. I have not found any full motion video pre-rendered cutscenes. I'm going to select NA there. And I have not come across any issues in just a little bit of gameplay I've done for widescreen. So I'm going to say no issues. Here in this box is where you will put in any solution that's needed, any tricks, anything you come across, and any resulting issues from playing in widescreen. While it is native, I did notice that the game has 3 options. So I'll put in here, there are 3 display options available, which is full screen, windowed, full screen, and windowed. So I figured this out because I was running on my Eyefinity rig. I had Eyefinity set up, and normally in a game, you select the Eyefinity resolution, and then you want to go test 1080p or 1680 by 1050, you can go select that alternate res. Although I will say for Eyefinity, unfortunately, you can't do that with the Eyefinity group enabled. To get the 16:10, you'll need to unplug 2 of your monitors or disable the Eyefinity group. I find that if I just unplug the monitors and reboot, I can get the 16:10, and then when I plug the monitors back in, it's all re-enabled. With NVIDIA Surround, you can still get all of the single screen resolutions, even with the single large surface enabled. So the next thing here is for multi-monitor support. Again, it is native. The HUD, now for me, I would say for mine, if you look here, that the HUD position between the single screens here, it's not centered. You can see the health bar way out here. And looking at one of the discussion threads on the forum, some people are getting a centered HUD, some people are not. We haven't been able to figure out a commonality to it. Some people have tested in Eyefinity with Crossfire, Surround with SLI. So at this point, I'm going to say that the HUD position affects gameplay because for some people it may not be centered. And then for multi-monitor issues, I'm going to go ahead and select a minor issue here saying some people have a non-centered HUD which affects gameplay. If we can get a fix for that, then we will, or know when it pops up, we can put that in here. And with a fix, we could say it was optimized because with the fix, that would be optimized. But we would still leave the multi-monitor issues as B because our grading philosophy is a gold medal game, you should be able to get out of the box, not have to jack around with it, and it will work. And it will work as you expect, and it will work at perfection or near perfection. A B grade or a silver game, either it's got some anomalies you just need to understand and be aware of that are very minor, in this instance the HUD, or to get that perfection, it's going to take a little tweaking. So either get perfection with a little tweaking or out of the box, not quite perfect. Silver medal quality. So we've got that here. Then I'm going to go down here to the ultra widescreen. Again, that is native. The HUD is, I would say, optimized. For the 21 by 9, when you look here at, say, 21 by 9, and we'll flip to the 16 by 10, you can see it's in the same position relative to the outside of the screen. If the HUD was hanging out here in the middle, I consider that to be distracting or obstructive. And it kind of depends on the HUD itself. Some of this stuff is subjective. It's a very minimal HUD, then a HUD that was keyed to 16 by 9 may not get in your way, and you could say that it is optimized. It doesn't obstruct your view. Some HUDs that have larger elements, say Borderlands 2, it's keyed to a 16 by 9. You can stretch it out a little bit and get it closer to the edge, but because some of the elements are very large and take up large amounts of screen real estate, I consider them to be obstructing the view. And again, this is something that the editors can look at and validate, and if we need to, we can get a consensus from the community. So here I'm going to say that it's optimized and that there are no issues with it. If you have a stereoscopic 3D support, then you can go ahead and put that information here, solution anomalies as well. The next thing we're going to look at is the tested resolutions. So I have tested this in Eyefinity. I haven't swapped video cards to go NVIDIA Surround. I tested it in a 3x1. I did test it at a number of different resolutions and found that it worked just fine. Having the resolution here is required for ultra widescreen grading. Those medals we will start publishing once we have a sort of a critical mass of games with that information, and so I need to add that tooltip there. But just know here for these, you do need to tick at least some resolution that was tested. I did see that not this resolution, but the 4800 by 900 worked as well. If anything doesn't work, if anything's broken, any resolution, you can select that here. And so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up as kind of round 2, and I'm going to save and show you what that information looks like in the form. So you can see here that we now have a gold medal and a silver medal. Again, the silver is because the HUD position can affect gameplay. We have all the fields here filled out. You can see the grades are listed here as well. We don't have any screenshots yet, and you can see the information here that I've loaded for the baseline solution. Here the issue on some people having a non-centered HUD, so we've got our information there directly below the rotating screenshots. And then here I'll show the resolutions that I've picked. When you're going through, if you haven't had a chance to really test the resolution and make sure the HUD looks okay, and at least play a few minutes in the game, don't go through just checking all of them, to say they work unless you've had a chance to just play a little bit at least. So this is the end of In the first video, we looked at the prep work of what you'll need. In the second video, the first one where we actually dug into the form, we got the first area here, the game information. And here in the third one, we've done the support summary, and then also the information here on solutions and issues, and finally down the resolutions and configurations. Here in the last one, we're going to upload screenshots and show you what a finished game looks like.